Hello everyone and welcome into today's video where we are checking out some Algorand news, some very interesting new partnerships, and we will also check out the price charts, so there should be a plenty of interesting information for you guys. But just before we start the video, I found out that my latest videos are not being pushed by YouTube, by the algorithm, so I don't know the exact reason just yet. But if you haven't been getting my latest videos, you can definitely check the channel itself, and probably you should smash the subscribe button and maybe also the bell icon. Therefore you should be guaranteed to get all the new videos in the future. And just one last thing in relation to the last video, which you might have not seen according to my statistics from YouTube, but the video is in the top right hand corner, so feel free to check it out beforehand. Here we have the Altseason Index, which is a very interesting index because it basically can tell you if we are now in the altcoin season or the Bitcoin season. So because we've checked the Bitcoin and Ethereum in the previous video, I think this data is actually quite correlating nicely with the points mentioned in the last video. So now we can see that at the moment we are almost at the top of the scale, pretty much in the red zone since the middle of March. So we are right in the altcoin season. However, it is going on for almost 2 months now, and if we look at the totality of this index, going all the way back to the 2017, we can see that these huge altcoin seasons right here at the top did not last so long. Even beforehand in 2019, they were quite short. So now we are maybe approaching an end of altcoin season, and we will maybe swing back to the Bitcoin season down here. So I think this is quite interesting to watch out. Link is in the video description as always, by the way. And back to the Algorand, so we have some very interesting news regarding carbon emissions of Algorand and its very nice energy efficiency. And they are also connecting these facts to minting NFTs, because at the moment minting NFTs is facing two major challenges, which are high fees and high carbon footprint. However, Algorand can help to solve those issues. For example, there was this report by the New York Times, which, to be honest, I would take with a grain of salt. However, they found that the creation of an average NFT has a stunning environmental footprint of over 200 kilograms of planet warming carbon, equivalent to driving 500 miles in a typical American gasoline-powered car. So this looks quite unfortunate. However, Algorand seems to have the best solutions, because they are saying that the high carbon footprint is tied to the high fees, and because Algorand requires very low fees thanks to its pure proof of stake algorithm, which is very much different from the proof of work of Bitcoin, for example. It also results in a very low carbon footprint, and that's mainly because the proof of work uses a lot of computational resources, whereas the proof of stake itself is very light on computational resources. And also this pure proof of stake is a better version of the proof of stake itself and can run, for example, just on a Raspberry Pi, just a small chip, so very efficient. And also the solution architect Cosimo Bassi calculated the average cost of minting an Algorand NFT, and it is roughly just a fraction of kilogram of CO2 per NFT, which is just negligible amount compared to the 200 kilograms of planet warming carbon produced by a single NFT, according to the New York Times report. So this looks all very interesting. And here in another article we have the actual calculation by Cosimo Bassi, so I will link this into the video description so you can check this out yourself. It looks very realistic in my opinion, and at the end of all those estimations, which they are making really transparent, they will end up with this very low fraction of a kilogram of CO2 per NFT, presuming full blocks and 4,000 validators. Here, just before the conclusion, we have a nice little chart which is comparing Bitcoin's average energy consumption per transaction in the April 2021, and we can see that even Ethereum compared to Bitcoin is much lighter on energy consumption, but Algorand is just incredibly efficient. So that's one of other very strong points of Algorand in comparison to other blockchain technologies. And also, as we know, they have this super feature set of great scalability, security, and also decentralization. Here in another article we have a better explanation of the PPOS, the pure proof of stake, versus, for example, the proof of work. So in the Algorand network there is no need for mining, as is with the proof of work, for example, because the users can become validators simply by staking their tokens, and in this way Algorand actually manages to achieve carbon neutrality, and even they are thinking about becoming carbon negative in the future. So this is very cool, and also they are achieving those through some interesting partnerships. For example, this one with the Climate Trade, which is a leader in CO2 emissions, transparency and traceability, that is using some blockchain based solutions. So Algorand is making another step forward from its very energy efficient network, which can be running its nodes just on a very basic device as simple as a Raspberry Pi. So the network was designed from the ground up with a minimal impact to the environment, but now with this partnership they are aiming to even become carbon negative, and they want to achieve this with Climate Trade by implementing a sustainability oracle which will notarize Algorand's carbon footprint on chain for each epoch. And with some smart contracts, Algorand will then lock the equivalent amount of carbon credit as an ASA, which is Algorand standard asset, into a green treasury so that its protocol keeps running as carbon negative. So that's very cool from Algorand. Also, you can check the Climate Trade down here if you are not familiar. And now let's jump into the price charts, which from the last video the price was on a kind of a wild ride. We've jumped down over here. The price has fallen quite significantly all the way under the $1 mark. However, now we've had a strong return and we are sitting around 1.5 US dollars per coin, and we can see that it is oscillating back and forth around this trend line over here, which if we zoom out we can find out that it is very important trend line going all the way back to October 2019, in which the price pretty much remained ever since. However, now recently we can see this new bullish trend forming over here, and the price is starting to push out of this channel, so that could mean a lot of upside in the near future. And also I would like to add that there may be forming some kind of a wedge over here in between those two trend lines, so the price is coiling up a little bit and can burst upwards over this resistance, and after that there would be ideal if the price does a little bit of a backtest and continues in the uptrend above this long-term resistance over here. And finally, checking out the Algorand to Bitcoin ratio, which is also important. We can see that this ratio is staying in this price channel over here above the support line. So if we zoom out again, we can see that it is going since the August 2019, which pretty much means that Algorand is doing kind of a similar gains as Bitcoin, which, to be fair, with the Bitcoin's recent performance, which was quite underwhelming for a bull run, it went pretty much sideways. This also means that Algorand was going a bit sideways as well. However, from the points I made previously, I think we could start to go towards up part of this price channel near to this resistance, which would put Algorand on a very nice bull run. And this is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. If so, please smash the like button. It helps the channel a lot in the YouTube algorithm. And also subscribe so you don't miss some new videos I will be making about Algorand in the near future. And with this, I thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!